undeniable. Here's the photographic proof, and it can't be destroyed. We have it. It's ironic because we're standing with Neil Armstrong here. Hey, Neil, is the moon a cover-up? Is the moon story a cover-up? I don't know. But is there 100% proof of NASA being involved in a cover-up? There is, friends, and we even have it, and we're going to preserve it. And it's right here. 100% proof NASA was involved in a cover-up. Welcome to UFO Seekers. I'm your host, Tim Doyle. Now, is there actual proof of a NASA cover-up? I mean, you go out on the internets and on the Google bots and the machines, the Google machines, right? And what do you find? You find lots of talk, and people may want to say conspiracy theories, so let's just use that term, conspiracy theories about NASA cover-ups, including things about the moon, about exploring space. But is there actual 100% undeniable proof that NASA was involved in a cover-up? And I'm here to tell you, yes, there is. And in fact, we have it and are preserving it because, hey, the government could have destroyed it at any time, but luckily we got our hands on it. Yes, it does involve the military, and yes, it does involve the Soviet Union and Russia. The CIA was running surveillance spy missions over Russia in 1960. So let's just read about it really quick, and then I'll show you the proof. On May 1st, 1960, a United States U-2 spy plane was shot down by Soviet air defense forces while conducting photographic aerial reconnaissance deep inside Soviet territory. The single-seat aircraft, flown by American pilot Francis Gary Powers, had taken off from Peshawar, Pakistan, and crashed near present-day Yekaterinburg. After being hit by a surface-to-air missile. The first flight happened in April 1960. A U-2C spy plane of the Special CIA Unit 1010, piloted by Bob Erickson, crossed the southern national boundary of the Soviet Union and flew over 4 top-secret military objects. The weather improved May 1st, 15 days before the scheduled opening of the East-West Summit Conference in Paris. Captain Powers left the base in Peshawar on a mission with the operations code word Grand Slam to overfly the Soviet Union, photographing targets including ICBM sites, the Cosmodrome, and then land in Norway. A study of Powers' account before being shot down, the last target he overflew was a plutonium production facility. The U.S.S.R. had detected and couldn't catch the first U-2 plane that had flown over, the surveillance spy plane. And so Russia, which was the U.S.S.R., the Soviet Union, that's a whole nother story, was on alert and was ready for any target that was coming over. Okay, just like a UFO coming over. Okay, an unidentified flying object, right? So let's keep that in mind when we talk about the UFO topic also, is to not be a conspiracy theorist or stigmatize the UFO topic and UFO sightings, but to take it very seriously and always approach it from a military perspective first. And that's what the military is doing, just no one knows it. They play games with Hollywood and then kind of tell everybody, oh yeah, it's aliens, when actually they're looking for stuff like this first, just so you know. The U-2 flight was expected, and all units of the Soviet Air Defense Forces in Central Asia, Kazakhstan, Siberia, Ural, and later in the U.S.S.R. European region and extreme north were placed on red alert. Soon after the aircraft was detected, Lieutenant General of the Air Force ordered the air unit commanders to attack the violator by all alert flights located in the area of foreign planes' course and to ram it, run into it, if necessary. Because of the U-2's extreme operating altitude, Soviet attempts to intercept the aircraft using fighter aircraft failed. The U-2's course was out of range of several of the nearest surface-to-air missile sites, and one surface-to-air missile site even failed to engage the aircraft since it was not on duty that day. Oops. The U-2 was shot down near the Ural region by the first of 3 S-75 Dvina surface-to-air missiles. The SA-75 site had been supposedly identified previously by the CIA using photos taken by Vice President Richard Nixon's visit to Sverdlovsk, the previous summer. 4 days after Powers' disappearance, NASA issued a very detailed press release noting that an aircraft had gone missing north of Turkey. The press release speculated that the pilot might have fallen unconscious while the autopilot was still engaged. So remember, there was autopilot in 1960. Even falsely claiming that the pilot reported over the emergency frequency that he was experiencing oxygen difficulties. To bolster this, a U-2 was quickly painted in NASA colors and shown to the media, under the impression that the pilot had died and that the plane had been destroyed. The Americans had decided to use the NASA cover-up plan. After Khrushchev found out about America's NASA cover story, he developed a political trap for Eisenhower. His plan began with the release of information to the world that a spy plane had been shot down in Soviet territory, but he did not reveal that the pilot of this aircraft had also been found and that he was alive, because of course, Mr. Powers, Captain Powers, Pilot Powers, survived and was still alive. And they even gave him this modified silver dollar that had a lethal injection needle in it, using some type of shellfish toxin. So Powers, if captured, was supposed to commit suicide and kill himself. Unfortunately, Powers kind of didn't want to do that. And so they interrogated him. The KGB caught Powers, interrogated him, and America was caught up in a controversy because they just claimed to everybody, and NASA claimed to everybody, that this was a weather airplane. With the information that Khrushchev released, the Americans believed they would be able to continue with their cover story that the crashed U-2 was a weather research aircraft and not a military spy plane. The cover-up stated that the pilot of the U-2 weather aircraft had radioed in that he was experiencing oxygen difficulties while flying over Turkey. From there, they claimed that the aircraft could have continued on its path because of autopilot and that this could be the U-2 that crashed in the Soviet Union. The final attempt to make the cover story seem as real as possible was the grounding of all U-2 aircraft for mandatory inspection of oxygen systems. See, so they took it even farther. That's how far. When you begin lying, you have to keep going, and the lie keeps going. So remember that, friends, like in your own life too, right? If you lie and don't tell the truth, which is kind of what we do here, and it's not popular, so we don't get the golden handshakes. People know what I'm talking about. So telling the truth is never, it's always the hardest, the most difficult. It's what hurts, but look how the lies lead to lies, lead to lies. And so that's what's happening now. The lies are compounding on themselves and making it worse for America. On May 7th, Khrushchev sprang his trap and announced, "I must tell you a secret. I must tell you a secret. When I made my first report, I deliberately did not say that the pilot was alive and well. And now just look how many silly things the Americans have said." Okay? And this is kind of annoying because we're right in the middle of a war. We're just talking about history here. It says also, because of the release of some photographs of the aircraft, there was evidence that most of the covert U-2 technologies had survived the crash. From this, Khrushchev was able to openly embarrass the Eisenhower administration by exposing the attempted cover-up. It's not attempted. I don't know who put attempted in here because it was a cover-up, right? We just read it was real. Not attempted. Here it is, friends. Here is the actual picture of the plane. This is the plane. And you see the NASA there? Okay. This is literally the plane. There's the NASA paint. There's the NASA numbers. There's Edwards Air Force Base. And this is the cover-up plane. This is a spy plane. This isn't a NASA plane. This isn't a weather plane. This is a CIA spy plane. This is a CIA spy plane from Area 51, called something different back then, that they painted NASA on. 100% proof NASA participated in a cover-up. 100% undeniable. You can't say attempted, undeniable. Here's the photographic proof, and it can't be destroyed. We have it. It's ironic because we're standing with Neil Armstrong. This is from 1960. This is real. This is authentic. This isn't a reprint. This is the authentic, real photograph. So let's read. Let's read what it says. Edwards Air Force Base, California. This U-2, similar to the one downed by the Russians, recently disclosed few secrets to some 100 aviation writers who were permitted at the first public viewing here May 6th. No one was allowed to see the inside of the ship. Underneath the plane, a glass or plastic bubble was visible, inside of which could be seen a prism such as is used in aircraft-type camera equipment. Washington announced May 7th that the plane shot down by Russians was probably a U-2 observation plane. There's the number. There's the NASA paint. And there is your surveillance aircraft. So don't ever let anyone tell you that NASA didn't participate in a cover-up. Neil, what do you think, Neil? Is that good? Is that 100% proof, Neil? Huh, buddy? You still look good, man. So, and we love you. We love you, right? That's why we have you here. We love you, Neil. But as far as the Central Intelligence Agency, thanks for tuning in, and I hope you have a great day.